Hello everyone, Micah Murphy here with the new Structure Ministries International. I know it's been a while since I've been able to come to you. We're down here where Hurricane Ida hit at the beginning of the month, and we were pretty unprepared because the meteorologist told us it was going to go the other way, and it came this way, and it went all the way up to New York and New Jersey, and I think they're calling it like the worst, one of the worst storms ever in the United States. So we were without power for quite a while. We were displaced. So I just wanted to let you know why I haven't been able to make any videos. This one I'm gonna have to go somewhere else to even get internet to upload it and everything. But I just wanted to let you know. I hope if you went through the hurricane that you're doing okay, that everything's going fine. But I'm going to talk a little bit about the Hebraic month that we're in right now. And it's the month called Tishrei, Tishrei. And what it is each tribe of Israel, there's 12 tribes of Israel, each one is linked with a month. And they have 12, so they have 12 months just like us. The way the months are ordered are different though than the way that our Roman calendar works. And so Tishrei is actually the head of the year, they call it. It's the beginning of the year. It's the new year. Like our January 1st is the new year. Tishrei 1st is the Hebraic New Year. But it's not considered the first month. It's considered the seventh month. The first month is Nisan, which is linked to the tribe of Judah. That's the first month, but it's not the beginning of the year. And I know that's a little, why did God do that? I'm sure he has a purpose. But I'll tell you a little bit about the month and what's going on, because the tribe that's linked with the month kind of shows you what to expect in the month. Well, first of all, it's the new year, so you can expect a lot of new things happening. So Tishrei is linked with Ephraim, and Ephraim was the person who received the last laying on of hands of the patriarchal blessing from Joseph. So you had Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and the last person that Jacob laid his hands on and they received a blessing before they went into bondage was Ephraim. And it's interesting because none of the actual firstborn, like physically firstborn children, received the firstborn blessing. And it gives you an idea of the fact how God's ways are different and higher than our ways. Because God had a firstborn blessing, which was double the rest. But in every situation, it was not the firstborn who received the blessing. And there are different reasons why, and you can look into that. Abraham's first son was Ishmael, but the blessing went to Isaac. Isaac, it was the same thing with his children. Jacob took the blessing by putting hair on his arms, and since they were twins, I'm guessing maybe they sounded alike, but his mother had him do that, and he took the blessing. And then whenever Jacob comes to Egypt, whenever all the 12 tribes come and they come to live in Egypt, and Jacob he has the name Zephnath Paneah. He's the highest in the land besides Pharaoh. Pharaoh favors him and his family immensely. When they come, Joseph brings his two children, Ephraim and Manasseh, to Jacob, and Jacob adopts them. So Jacob actually says, these two, your two firstborn, these two are going to be mine, and the rest of your children are yours. That's why we don't, whenever a lot of times we see the ordering of the tribes, you don't see the tribe of Joseph. There are some times where the Lord still calls the house of Joseph, Ephraim and Manasseh, and sometimes even Benjamin's included in that. Jacob had a lot of love for Rachel, but she didn't bear near as many children to Jacob as her sister Leah. So you see kind of Jacob putting this extra blessing on Rachel because of his love, on Rachel's children because of his love for her. And I'm sure there are other reasons too. But so Joseph was originally going to be the firstborn when he was the 11th born. That's why he got the coat of many colors, all that stuff. This was all symbols of how he was the firstborn, and it's probably one of the reasons why the rest of the children hated him so much and sold him into bondage basically. But also he didn't do a lot of physical labor. The coat symbolized some it's not something you would go outside and be working in manual labor. And so Jacob was probably teaching Joseph. So we see Joseph, he has this excellent spirit about him. If you think in your mind about in the Old Testament, who really had like excellent spirits and like really, were just a model example of what a true Christian should be, you think of Joseph and Daniel. And Joseph turned away from fornication when Potiphar's wife came after him. He always kept a good attitude wherever he went. Wherever he went, even if it was in jail, he rose to the top and always had favor. And then even going to the top of and finding favor with Pharaoh and instantly becoming the viceroy of Egypt. So I'm sure some of that came from Jacob's training in the tents whenever all the rest of the brothers were working. Joseph being the firstborn, and he was the firstborn from Rachel, and I think Jacob always saw in his mind that Rachel was his first wife because that's who he intended to marry. But Laban tricked him and gave him Leah on the night of the wedding. And back then they drank wine and stuff on the nights of the wedding, and they wore the wives wore things over their face. So if you're wondering how he could have confused it, it's very easy. She could have been covered the whole night, where you just saw maybe just like a silhouette, and then people were drinking wine and celebrating, and then you get to later in the night, you realize this is not the woman that I wanted to marry. So then he has to stay another 7 years and marry Rachel. But Rachel was always his first love. And so when Rachel finally bore Jacob, he put the firstborn blessing onto him, and he was training him in the ways of the family. So we see Jacob having that coat on, also symbolizing not wearing clothes that someone would do manual labor in. So he was in the tent a lot with Jacob being trained to be the head of the family and pass the blessings and the promises of God on. But anyway, so when Jacob and the brothers go and they see Joseph, it's at the end of the book of Genesis. Whenever Jacob's going to bless Ephraim and Manasseh when he adopts them, he's going to bless Ephraim as the firstborn, even though Ephraim is the secondborn. And Joseph tries to stop him because Manasseh's the real firstborn. And for some reason, Joseph said, no, this one's going to be the firstborn. And so the meaning of the name of Ephraim is double fruit. And the blessing that Joseph had was basically, if you sum it all up, was this immense amount of fruitfulness, especially fruitful in the land of his affliction. We see this triumphant, fruitful blessing. And not to have a spirit of competition, but if you look at all the tribes, Joseph and Judah had the biggest, I guess you could say, blessings of them. And you end up seeing whenever Israel splits into two kingdoms, and you have Israel in the north and Judah in the south. Judah ends up being the line of kings that rules the south, and Ephraim ends up being the line of kings that rule the north for the most part. But anyway, so we're in this month of, it's linked with Ephraim, so it's double fruit. So expect to see God really, really bless you, even if you went through this hurricane. I know that we're seeing it. Expect a lot of new things to happen because it's the beginning of a new year. Remember, we were grafted into all of these things, these promises. But Ephraim was he was a mighty, mighty man of valor. Sadly, when the Ephraim kings ruled Israel, not many did good in the sight of the Lord, but same for Judah. After David and after part of Solomon's reign, there was only a few righteous kings left. And some of them took down as much of the high places of the idols as they could, but nobody ever took them down completely. So, but what I want to do, because I know we've been talking a lot here, I don't like to make long videos. I want to encourage you to go to on the internet, if you can, and Google the tribe of Ephraim or the month of Tishrei and the tribe, and just Google this stuff and learn about it, because I think you'll find a lot of things very interesting about what's happening this month in the Hebraic calendar. So that's all I wanted to say. If you would like to donate, become a partner with us, we have a Patreon account, patreon.com/the new structure, where it's just on a monthly basis. We have a lot of new things that are fixing to happen that I'm not going to address here, but I will address them soon. And so we would love to have your partnership as we're going out further and further, as the Lord's giving me more platforms to speak from, and fixing to make a really big move, which I'll be announcing. Got a lot of announcements coming soon. So, but go to our website, please, thesonsofgod.net, one word, thesonsofgod.net. Look at all the different facets of our ministry. And so I hope we see you soon, and you are blessed through this time. Thank you.